Hello, everyone. My name is Jose. Uh, Today, I'm gonna present you my presentation. And first, I'll start with a brief introduction. I had all my presentation in my resources was my source was the book Research Design in Psychology, written by Sam Walters, the one that professor had for us. So the presentation overview will be, this presentation compares experimental and non-experimental psychology research approaches. We will analyze two studies in developmental psychological motivations and emotions, personality psychology, clinical psychological, and social psychological to compare experimental and non-experimental methods. In this presentation, we'll show how these research methods help us to understand human behaviors and our psychological topic. Just change it over here. So a brief overview what's experimental and non-experimental research. Experimental research uses systematic manipulation of independent variable to study its effects on a dependent variable. This research usually uses random assignment, a controlled group, and casual inference. Surveys, questionnaires, and surveys are used in non-experimental research. Does not manipulate independent variables. It does requires observation, measurements, and data-driven for judgments. Social psychology uses it most: surveys, interviews, and observation to help understand the behavior. Non-experimental research also use naturalistic observation to watch people in their natural environments. Correlation models seek correlations between variables without establishing a cause and effect link. So now the focus area will be developmental psychology. Emotions and motivations shape behavior, cognition, and well-being. Walter, into 2020, defines emotions as subjective responses to specific stimulations or events, stimulus or events, while motives are internal forces that drives behavior. Motivations and emotions. Academic motivation and achievement is our motivation and emotional team. The reference article discusses how motivations affect academic accomplishment and how emotions affect learning. This research examines how to internal and external motivation, extrinsic motivation, efficiency, goal setting, and positive and negative emotions affect students' performance. Different theories and hypotheses tested. Experimental study. The reference article may have tested the social identity theory and the hypothesis. According to the social identity theory, social groups shape people's self-concept and contribute to in-group favoring and out-group prejudice. Hypothesis 1. Participants primed with a positive in-group identification will have more positive sentiments towards the group and more unfavorable opinions toward an out-group. Hypothesis number 2. Participants exposed to a manipulated stereotype regarding out group will have biased perceptions and discriminatory behaviors toward the out group. And on the other hand, in non-experimental study, the reference articles on non-experimental study may have utilized a correlation approach to evaluate media stereotypes and biased attitudes. Hypothesis number 1, media portrayals that promote unfavorable preconceptions about the social group may increase prejudice towards that group. And hypothesis number 2, the frequency of stereotyping reinforcing media content may be positively correlated with prejudiced beliefs. Research, design, and data collection methods. Psychologists use researchers' designs to investigate behavior and other phenomena. Descriptive, correlational, and experimental studies are used. Descriptive research lets researchers watch, characterize, and categorize behaviors. This research may incorporate surveys, interviews, naturalistic observations, or archival research. Correlation research approach helps scholars finding correlations. Researchers can better understand their team by examining how these variables relate and correlate them. Finally, experimental research designs interchanging one variable to see its impact on participants and related variables. This study reviews variable cause and effect correlations. Depending on the research topic, descriptive research might collect data through surveys, interviews, polls, archival research, and ratings. Question-based service research is quantitative. It's one of the most reliable techniques to collect plenty of data. Correlational research uses field observations, surveys, interviews, checklists, and observation studies. The main objective is to prove a cause and effect link. Also, experimental research designs can be used in laboratory, field, or quasi-experimentals. Researchers change a variable and analyze its effects on other variables in lab studies. Field experimentals are less controlled and done in nature. Quasi-experimentals manipulate one variable in nature. These 3 studies design can assist scholars comprehend their topics by collecting data. So my conclusions, my key findings, Walter in 2020 lists descriptive, correlational, and experimental psychological study designs, observing and reporting behaviors without explaining or influencing its descriptive method. This research reveals how people act and think in different situations. Correlational analysis examines 2 or more variables. This research measures the relation between factors. Exercise and mental health may be studied using a correlational approach. To detect behavior changes, experimentalists manipulate factors are used. Cause and effect research uses this method to research will report the findings and conclusions using descriptive statistics like means, medians, percentage, etc. Or correlation coefficients in the study is correlational. So now different researches, issues, and hypotheses. Through observation, descriptive research enables researchers to precisely define the behavior of a particular community. When research questions or hypotheses concern the frequency, rate, or variety of features and characteristics that something may possess, this style of study is most efficient. Researchers can use correlational research to explore the connection between two or more variables and ascertain whether a change in one variable is related to a change in the other variable or variables. When using relationship between two or more factors and the degree to which those factors are related to one of the another, this kind of research is helpful. Finally, by adjusting an independent variable and evaluating the impact on a dependent variable, experimental research methods enable researchers to investigate cause and effect. When study questions or hypotheses are concerned with examining the effects of a therapy or a manipulation on a certain result outcome measure, this style of research is employed. Experimental versus non-experimental methods. Experimental or non-experimental procedures rely on the study goal. Experimental research is best for determining any cause and effect linkage between elements and effects to better understand the mechanism. Manipulating one variable in the independent variable and assigning its effect on another variable or group of variables is the dependent variable is typical. The test how different studies environments affect students in learning productive. Non-experiment research is better than understanding relationships between variables without establishing causality. It observes, measures, and describes correlations without controlling for external influence or subtle variables. Anxiety and physical activity levels in a population could be measured. Thank you so much. This was my presentation. I hope you guys had a great term. I had one. Thank you, Professor. I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you.